Every year, millions of tons of fertilizer move into Europe. But now, for the first time, something else travels with those shipments: a cost for the carbon emissions. The Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism is essentially a new tax on all nitrogen fertilizers moving into the EU. There are also CBAMs for cement, hydrogen, electricity, and various metals as well. But what is it that connects all these products? Well, they all release a lot of carbon dioxide when they're being produced. Until January the 1st of this year, European producers were paying for their emissions through the emissions trading scheme. But rival producers outside the EU were not paying for theirs. So European industry was struggling to compete on price. This asymmetry in cost is the problem that CBAM was designed to fix. And it's to the benefit of Europe's fertilizer producers, who are spending a lot of money making their products greener, whilst being undercut by cheaper imports from elsewhere. For farmers, though, the benefits of the policy were less obviously apparent when the policy began in earnest back in January. They'd been benefiting from relatively inexpensive urea and calcium ammonium nitrate from places like Egypt and Turkey. Farmer protests in early January ultimately provoked a political response from the European Commission and the lifting of some fertilizer tariffs. So far, though, the CBAM on fertilizers remains firmly in place. It's helped create what several traders have called a perfect storm for farmers during the first quarter. Low grain prices are making it harder for farmers to afford higher input costs, and punitive tariffs on Russia mean that nitrogen fertilizers from one of the world's largest producers are very expensive. And this was all without the war in Iran that has lifted prices so sharply and so suddenly that CBAM charges currently seem almost trifling in comparison. So what's likely to happen next? These external producers who were supplying Europe mostly continue to do so, albeit at new higher prices. Some are looking to improve the linkage with the EU system to help get costs lower, and there are still plenty of details that are still being worked out. Meanwhile, the post-Brexit UK is setting up its own CBAM that's due to come into force in 2027. After a high-profile start to 2026, the EU CBAM is not currently top of mind for many in the European fertilizer markets, but with farmers under pressure and the policy still phasing in, it's still very much on the agenda.